think I can start. So this is the tray that we did last Saturday. And I am thrilled with this color because that's exactly what I wanted. It was this kind of green. So I'll share with you the combination. So I decided to leave the bottom unglazed and just glaze the edges because it's like a shallow tray. And when you put it down, all you see really is this, a little bit of the leaves. And I remember I didn't carve the grooves into the leaves, the veins of the leaves. I didn't carve that. So it was just smooth. Um, and the last one that failed, I don't know if you remember, I used sandstone on the bottom and it was a mess because it dripped. So this time I was more careful and I said, I'm just going to use the glaze on the very edge, about ½ inch or so below the rim. Anyways, this one is the new Speedball Prisma Green Glaze. And what I did here, I added the Blue Guppy, which is a Mako Jungle Jams glaze. And it looks beautiful over the Prisma Green. So Prisma Green is this real nice green here, and it has like some purple undertones, which it comes through when it's like a little thinner, like you see it in here. And it's the very shiny glaze, almost look like a mirror, like almost like if you guys are familiar with the Robin's Egg by Laguna, has that mirror effect. Prisma Green, I found that has that same effect. And so it looks very nice with the Blue Guppy. Anyways, I have used this combination before on my last um, shop update. I sold a lot of mugs that had this combination, which has become one of my favorites now, one of my go-to glazes from Speedball. I have tested on different clay bodies. Oh, and by the way, this was the speckled bee mix, as you can see, a close-up. And it did work out. Remember, I was a little worried that it wasn't going to work out for hand building. It did work out beautifully, like no cracks. It took me about 2 days only to dry under a covered, plastic. And I was really surprised. It didn't warp. It came out completely flat. So yeah, I was wrong about this clay, and I love because it is a speckled, almost like an off-white color. So that's just for your information. This clay, Laguna Speckled Bee Mix, it is good for hand building if you want to try it. So I'll go through the pieces that I have here, and then we're going to unbox something together that I got. One was for my birthday gift from last month, and the other one is something I just received, which my package was delayed from Blick's Art Supply. It was delayed by 2 days, and I was hoping to get it in time so I can make the test styles of these new glazes. But it came yesterday. It was too late. All my pieces were in the kiln already, so I couldn't test. But I will test in the future, and I'll share the results with you guys. They're mainly all bots glazes, which I have a lot of them. Anyways, let's start with this bowl here. This is the clay is Aardvark. Yeah, it's Aardvark Terra Red is the name. And it is bright red when you're throwing or even on greenware stage. But then when you glaze fire, it becomes this real dark, almost like a maroon color clay. And from previous tests that I've done, river birch inside. It turns out real pretty with this clay, with red clay, because it turns out more blue. Like, look at how you see how blue it is in here, and look how nice it is inside this bowl. So 2 times river birch, but it was thick application. So it was almost like a 3 coats, but I did 2. And then a little bit on the rim, like up to here. So all over inside. Then I used a band of Prisma green, and that's the green that you see here on top. And look how pretty the drips are over the river birch. You see how it's just dripping through? It has some, I don't know if it's capturing here, but you can see a little bit of the green, like a real light green, with the blue hues and the creamy color of the river birch. And then on the outside, I started with a band of, this is Speedball Dragons Eye, which is a real pretty blue, like a dark blue. Similar to, I would say it's similar to Blue Surf, but not quite the same. Then I made a band of Prisma green right over it, and then a band of Ultra Turquoise by Western right here. And then this is the river birch. Anyways, it all kind of overlapped a little bit, and I really like the results on this one. Then this one is the same combination as this, which I thought for Christmas we're gonna serve, little candy appetizers. My husband mentioned putting Skittles or nuts. You can do different things with this one, and I thought I would also put these for like any finger foods. But it is the same. It's the Prisma green with blue guppy inside, but this one is on porcelain, so that's porcelain clay. Same thing on the outside, Prisma green, but the difference is that on the outside I used Jungle Jams Blue Azure is what's on the outside. Inside is blue guppy. So you see how it gets more of the brownish green color here. Here it has more of the blue in here. So it turned out really nice on porcelain. Then I don't know if I shared this on my last kiln unload. I have 2 pieces that have similar colors, similar combination as the one I just mentioned. So also on the Terra Red clay, but this was a refire because I got a lot of bubbles in this one. So I refired with a layer of honey flux, a thin layer of honey flux all over. But what it is Dragon's Eye, Prisma green, and then here I believe was Robin's Egg by Laguna in here. And then I added a coat of honey flux, and that was my trick to get all the pinholes, or it actually had like big craters and it smoothed everything out, but I didn't do on the back. And then I got some more bubbles. You see how, yeah, it's off on the back. So I'm not going to try to refire these again. What I'm going to do is use it because it's a shallow bowl. I'm going to use it as a bird bath because I had a bigger bowl outside as a bird bath that broke recently. So for now, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use these as a bird bath. So I might even make a little pedestal to put these on a pedestal and look more like a bird bath. So This one is very similar to that one. I don't know if I showed you guys this one last time, but anyways, this has become one of my favorite combos because it has the Western Ultra Turquoise, the Dragon's Eye, which is that real pretty blue, and then the Prisma green, and this is on that marbled clay that I got. I didn't do this mixture, so I can't tell you what's in this clay, but it's very groggy, but it turns out the colors like this clay to my surprise. And these I just painted, these butterfly I just painted with under glazes. Um, and some of my test styles, testing for blue colors. This is indigo float over iron luster. It's a very pretty on porcelain, very pretty results. And then this one is sea spray over royal blue. Sea spray is opulence, and royal blue is Laguna. Royal blue. Look how pretty. Very pretty combination. So I'll be using a lot of these blue combinations here. This one I've used it before. Is very pretty. Also is Blue Lagoon over texture turquoise. And this is on speckled B-mix. Whoops. You can see it's very pretty. It almost has that oil spot effect that you can see behind, the color that is behind it. I really like this. And it becomes like semi-translucent. I decided to put it on a test style, one of these, my favorite combination here. Let me see if I can get this right. Yeah, so I just tested on 2 different clay bodies. And this is, let's see. Yeah, this one is Shallot by Spectrum, 2 coats of Shallot, 1 coat of Larimar, which is Bots. And it gives you this beautiful violet color. Very pretty. And then I do a thin coat of Bots Plus. But look. And that's the same here. This is on porcelain. This is on speckled B-mix. Now on the back, and it becomes very runny because of the Bots Plus. On the back, if you're looking for like a fuchsia color, very pretty, this is it. This is Bougainvillea by Spectrum, 2 coats with 1 coat of Larimar and then a thin coat of Bots Plus. But look at the color. But remember, it's very runny because of the Bots Plus. So I'd suggest you use something stable on the bottom and then put this over. So Bougainvillea gives you this real pretty fuchsia kind of like color. The back is Shallot with Larimar, gives you this nice purple violet color, very pretty. And it's been very popular with my pieces. People just seem to drawn to these purple glazes, which I was never a purple fan, but with this color I am because it has more of the pink. One color that really didn't work out for me, which I recently bought, was obsidian. And I have used obsidian on the past, is Amico, with one of the popular combinations are indigo float over obsidian, seaweed over obsidian. And I tried and it didn't turn out. And I think it's because of the temperature. So in this kiln, I fired lower than I usually do. So it was only 2165. because I'm going to show you why. I have some cuerda seca tests that I did. And for cuerda seca, you can't go above a cone 5. And then you start getting the glazes to move. So I didn't want to go too high. So I went to 2165. I usually fire to 2185 or 2180. Between 2180 and 2185 is usually my schedule, slow cool. And this time I went a little cooler. And I think that's why I didn't get almost any color at all. I got mostly black. And so I'm going to test it again. Like I said, I have used obsidian in the past with successfully. Very pretty. I've used it with blue purple, which is a coyote over obsidian. And so I had several combinations that I was thinking when I tested this that it was beautiful in the past. So it just didn't work out at this temperature. This one is indigo float over Prisma green on the back. Very pretty. And then Dragon's Eye, which is Speedball over Prisma green. Very pretty combination. If you're looking to make one of those that you have, let's say a mug, and you want to leave the half of the mug raw clay, which I think that's what I'm going to do with this glaze. And then look at this drip. And what's nice about it is that the drip is real smooth. Sometimes you get the bubbling effect. I don't like when it does that. I like when it's a real smooth, thick drip. And that's what happened here. Turned out very pretty. So I will be using more of this combination. One thing that I've been testing for cuerda seca that I succeeded in some other ones that I sold already on my sale that I had, and some not so much. So this one is one of the ones that didn't work so well. So I've been testing cuerda seca with a different background, like using other glazes that are satin finish or matte, just to give that contrast. So in my mind, I wanted to give the glossy against the flat contrast. So I've been getting a lot of satin glazes from Opulence, and they are great. They are stable, and that's the reason why I wanted to test it in here. And so here is one that the color just didn't work out for cuerda seca, but it worked out with the black. And there's another one called, actually the black is called Cast Iron by Opulence. And then another one that worked out, and I'll show you here, I have it here, was Everglade, which is a real dark green. Well, this one is more like a lighter sage green, and it didn't show much of a contrast between, some of the colors. I mean, it has the contrast here, but I just didn't like how, how it turned out. To me, it wasn't like a nice contrast that I had in mind. So I'm just going to keep this guy, maybe to put some of my tools that I got, some of my new tools that I will show you. We're going to show you on the box here behind me at the end. So I'm going to leave it to the end so that if you don't like it, if you don't care to watch that, you can just end the video. So this is one that I had on my sale. It hasn't sold yet, but I really like this mug. It was kind of like a test that worked out. It is so colorful. It's just a tumbler. And I like to make my smoothies sometimes in the morning or in the afternoon. And I've been using this cup. So I tested, and I think I might keep it for me as my Christmas present. because it just makes me happy with the colors. So anyways, this one is the Everglade. Look how it's like a satin. It's not quite matte. It's not completely matte, but it has the real nice satin. And you can see how it gives the contrast between, the satin and the glossy. And sometimes it's hard to capture the contrast. The reason why it went glossy right in here is because of the bots that I used inside is glossy. And I did a little bit on the rim. So what happened is the glossy from the inside dripped here where, you would put your lips, but it's okay. To me, it's fine. But you can tell how it changed the glossy from the satin. So these are all stroke and coat cuerda seca, and you can find these under my playlists. Under cuerda seca, I have like 20 videos, 20 tutorials, something like that. It's a lot. But I like to share my techniques. And anyways, I will put this one. I don't know if I have it already, but I will put this technique using satin glaze as a background. I will put it in on the playlist. I will include that as well. But look at some of the colors. It's so colorful. So another one that I did that I sold, I decided to, instead of just the colors without the lines dividing them, I decided to make random lines, almost like if there were cuts on the leaves. And then I added a different color, and that one turned out really nice. And it's something that I'm going to explore more in the future, like Monstera leaves, all the tropical leaves that I like to make. I am going to be using that same technique with the lines instead of just not using the lines and let the colors blend together like in here. But I'm happy with this. This is going to be mine, I think. I can't let go. So another thing that I'm very happy with how it turned out, an incense holder that is begonia angel, I think it's called angel wing begonia leaf. And I love incense. And everything that I'm talking about here, if I mention anything, which I plan on mentioning at the end, some of the things that I bought, I don't mind sharing other artists, ideas or what they make, and I will mention at the end of the video. But this one, I love this incense, and I wanted to share with you guys because I think it was like 3 years ago. I was never an incense person that I liked because to me it always smelled a little burned smell. Well, until I found this kind of incense, and I will share with you. It's backwards. Anyways, I will share. This it's from Amazon. It comes on a package with, I don't know if it is 8 different scents, but they are all good. I mean, I haven't found one yet that I can say I didn't like. I love all of them. So, anyways, this one is patchouli, I believe. I ran out. So I have others that I'm going to use, but they're all very good. And the way I did this for the hole, I used my own incense to make the hole here. And all I did is I wiggled a little so it makes the hole a little bit bigger and it just fits perfectly. So let me show you up close. And these I used kiwi under glazes with, it was HF9 because I was thinking about dipping this whole thing on Kitten's Clear, which is another clear glaze that I use over when I use under glazes. And it works really well. But in this case, I didn't want to glaze the bottom. I just glazed the top. So I decided to just brush on 2 thick coats of AnasClayHouse HF9 clear. and it worked out. And look at the little blooms I made. So I'm very happy. If you guys want, I can have a tutorial for these. They were very easy to make. I can even have like a template that you guys can use for this. So my inspiration for that was this leaf here. I got it in Brazil at a craft market. It was an incense holder. And all she did is very simple and pretty, I thought, is that she probably had a flat leaf and she folded the edges like this. And then she carved the grooves of the veins of the leaf. And she added, I believe, because I didn't ask her, but just looking at it, I think this is a copper wash. So the copper gets into the little grooves, and then if you use like, gosh, I don't know the glazes because this is from Brazil, but it looks a lot like that translucent cream. I believe it's called translucent cream by Laguna. It has the same color. And then inside, she might have used something that is pink and green, but then it has you can see the grooves, how it kind of bleeds through the glaze. I thought it was so pretty. Anyways, I wanted to do something different for my studio here so I can have incense in my studio. And I thought, I've had the angel wing as an indoor plant before and I loved it. So I decided to just make a begonia leaf for my incense. But you always get inspired. I love making things that are leaves, design. So, and then this is the last thing that I wanted to share. This is a new glaze that I mixed that I mentioned to you on the previous video, and I'm going to put this recipe link in my description for you to, if you want to try it. It's supposed to be the same glaze as a stroke and coat. And also I have a video on how I mixed the colors, which are all mason stains and some are inclusion stains that I used. They all worked well. And this is on speckled B-mix. This was on porcelain. And this was on Terra Red, real dark clay. And the only difference is that this one, I found it more stable. I think I fired just a straight cone 5, no hold or anything. This one had a hold, and when you do a hold or a slow cool, the glaze tends to move a little more. So I'll have to continue my tests with this, but look how smooth and shiny these are. I haven't tested these with a low fire, but as you know, stroke and coat has a wide range of temperature. So you can fire from a cone 04, supposedly all the way to cone 10. I don't know if these are the same. I would never go to cone 10, but I do want to test it at a lower temperature and see how it does. But I'm happy with the colors. Like, I've used Bermuda Mason stain. Is this real pretty green here? Some of the yellow. Anyways, I will do a separate video on these for you to see. Oh, and I had just a little bit on the back too, a turquoise stain. This was a very easy recipe, and if you're looking for a stable glossy glaze that you could even use it as a liner glaze, it worked out for all 3 different clay bodies that I did. So I think I've covered everything here. So I don't know if you guys saw, I'm not being sponsored by Diamondcore. This was the box that I received from Diamondcore Tools. I shared their BOGO sale, and because it was during my birthday or close to my birthday, they still had it. I decided to, because you can't beat it when you have the BOGO. So anyways, I got some of the tools that I wanted. These are carving tools. Look at the set, because I'll be doing a lot more carving next year. So I'll be sharing how I use these tools. They're the carving tool sets from Diamondcore. Haven't used them yet, so I will. But I do have other carving tools, but I wanted to use a nice set. So this was my present to my birthday. I gifted myself. And then it came with this. I have one already that I've been using this for years. Is the grinding disc that you put on your wheel and you sand the bottom. And then what I do, I put other smaller grinding discs that I buy from Amazon in here, and it sticks to that. So I go from, this is I believe it's 220 maybe grit. I'm not sure. I will put it on the description. So this would be the first pass I do, which is a coarse, grinding disc. Then I move on to a 400. Then I go to 800, and then 1500, which makes your bottom look almost like glass. It makes it real, real shiny. So that's how I do it. And I do have a video how I use this, and I will post the video also in the description. Anyways, this was my birthday present. And then this right here, let me bring you down a little bit because I haven't peeked what's in here, but I remember these are kind of like my own Christmas presents, I guess. Some of these are all bought. Some of these are glazes that I already had, and some are new. So I think right now I own almost every Bots Pro glaze color that you can think of. I think there are like maybe 4 that I don't have, that I didn't like the color, but all these other ones I really love. And so what I do is I start with the small one. This is almost 7 ounces right here. So this one is the sapphire blue, which I love. Some of the new ones, opal white, I really like. So I bought it again. Raw diamond is a new one for me. So I'm going to be testing this. I saw a video somewhere that I really liked how this looked. It's kind of like a transparent, not quite clear. It has a little bit of color, but it gives some real nice drips. So I'm going to be testing this. That's new. Citrine yellow is one of my favorite yellows, very bright. Can't wait for summer, like summer colors. This one is new to me. It's called Malachite. And I believe, from what I looked, is a real nice dark green, almost like a teal dark green. Reminds me a little bit of the new color from Mako. What is it? Teal something? Glossy teal, something like that. But I thought it was very similar, except that all these bots glazes are translucent. So they look very nice for what I want to do. For the type of work I do want sometimes a translucent glaze. And this one is the next size up, which is a whopping 27 ounces. It costs a lot more, but look at the size. It's bigger than the other ones that we get, the pints, here in the US from other glazes, other brands, is much bigger. But this one is a real pretty pink. It's called Morganite. It's a pink that has specks in it. And I really like this one. So anyways, this was all as far as my new glazes. Let me bring you up again. And So thanks again, guys, for watching. For next year, I will be doing some announcements soon, but I am planning for new workshops, in-person workshops, cuerda seca coming up early spring, and I might offer like maybe 2 or 3 for cuerda seca, and then I will be offering some sculpting, hand sculpting workshops that I will show how I make my mugs with the frogs, chameleons, lizards, birds. Those are the main ones that I think I can fit in on my workshop, but I will be making an announcement with more details. I just won't be making the bigger like animals, but all different little creatures, but on a bigger scale. I will be teaching you also how to attach those on something to make them hollow. So we'll be getting more into all the details, but I will be making that announcement because I do have a lot of people who are interested on that. It's a little bit more advanced. For the cuerda seca, you don't have to have any previous experience. If you have with painting, it's great, but you really don't need to. So I've had people in the past with all different levels of experience, and they had no problem getting started with cuerda seca. So it's a real nice painting technique, but the sculpting, it will help if you have a little bit more experience with clay. So I don't have to get into all the details about clay, how they dry and what kinds of clay and all that kind of stuff. So it does help if you have a little bit more experience. So I will be making that announcement later, probably in beginning of January. That way, when I post it on my website, I only can accommodate maybe 8. This year, I'm going to try to go for a little bit more, maybe 10 people tops, but that's it. So I can only accommodate that many at once in my home studio. So I'm looking forward to for those classes. I have some pretty cool things happening next year that I will be announcing later. Um, and I think that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed my videos, and I will continue making my videos for tutorials for beginners or whatever level you are. I'm always open for suggestions. If you want to suggest something that you would like to see me do, I'll be happy to put that on my list, on my to-do list. And anyways, I wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays from our family to yours. And I hope to continue making that next year. So I hope you can join me. Thanks again, guys. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.